We can give our feet even more control as well. If we look at the standard setup that we have here, one of the big problems right now is actually that my y-axis is running in the opposite direction at a bit of an angle. My x is where my z should be, globally anyways, and z is off to the side. So if we're actually going to use a control object, we actually want these constraint objects here to act as the constraints but have zeroed out controls. So once again, I can get a control object. I'll just use that polygon mesh cube. I'll extract those edges. Control E, Alt right click, extract edges as curve, freeze, and delete. And I'm just going to match up the position of this cube to my one object, my one constraint on the left leg, and then duplicate symmetry it over for the one on the right leg. And I'm going to scale both of them down. And they have a nice zeroed out value, and I'm going to freeze their scaling to reset them to 100%. Now this becomes my left leg control. And this one my right leg control. Jump back into the Explorer. I'm just going to switch back to an objects only mode, open up the Mulcore model, and parent these in under my move all control. So I've got the constraint objects. I can just pull the right leg constraint and drop it under the right leg control, left leg constraint under left leg control, and then parent them back into my hierarchy. So I'll move them back under my move all. And now these constraint objects represent an object I really don't even need to work with unless I'm blending off the constraints and maybe going into an FK leg mode. So for now, what I could do is I could put them in Unselectables group, just so I know that they're there. Again, I can delete with all the constraint objects later that are unselectable. Just add them to a group. And these now become my main controls for rotating the character's feet. And I can work off of a zero value and a nice y-axis, local y-axis that's parallel to the ground. And of course I still have my pull vectors as well. So as far as keyable attributes go, these objects would move and rotate. So we'll keyable parameter those. No scale needed. And store a new bind pose. Make sure everything's inside of our model. And just replace it in the mixer. So that'll make your animators happier when they can actually work with a y-axis that is actually the y-axis of the character and not relative to the coordinate system of the box itself.